it's taken me so long to do this review. Chucky Season 2 is a fucking mess. And I'm gonna go over everything that I do not like about Season 2 in this video. I liked Season 1 kind of. I thought it was alright. But this feels like Chucky fan fiction. This does not feel real. First and foremost, the writing. Man, literally, I'm glad that I'm doing the whole season review instead of just going by one episode at a time, because that's just really strenuous, and I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore. But the writing. I think the Chucky TV series has like 5 to 8 writers or something, and it seems like they all want to do something different. One writer probably wants to make Chucky more comedic, or one writer wants to do more horror stuff. One writer wants to implement more LGBTQ plus elements. Overall, I'm not even really sure if there's actual conflicts within the writing room, because for all I know, Don Mancini, because everyone has all these different ideas, for all I know, Don Mancini could just be like, oh, well, I can't choose what ideas to put into the Chucky TV series because everyone's coming up with different takes and stuff. So how about we do them all? There's so much wrong with the writing. One of the things that really bothered me about the series is that they would introduce something really cool, like some really interesting idea that I was actually excited to see where they'd go with it. And pretty much it's the writers saying, hey, look at this cool new thing that we introduced. And then they kill it off, or they write it off for like the next episode or something. The plot lines they introduce in Season 2 of Chucky, they never write out those plot lines and ideas properly. They never push these ideas to their full potential. Because there are some cool ideas in here that they did put into Season 2. For example, Jennifer Tilly being inside of the Tiffany doll from Seed of Chucky. Jennifer Tilly's soul is in that doll, and I thought that was really cool. And I think in like the episode after that, she gets fucking hit by a truck. Shit like that. They're introducing all this stuff, and they never bother to really try to do more with it. Instead, they gotta shoehorn everything in. It's like they have so many ideas that they want to use everything, but they have to write out certain things because they want to fit so much in the show. Another example. So, the multiple Chucky shit is back in the series. One of the multiple Chuckies in the series, they call him Colonel Chucky. And then, of course, there's the buff Chucky that I fucking despise. And then, not to mention, I'm not sure how many of you guys noticed this, but for like the first 2 episodes, I think Buff Chucky's in 3 episodes. It actually might have been 2 episodes, but basically, at first, Buff Chucky has a deep voice, and later on, his voice isn't deep anymore, and it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Colonel Chucky. I thought that out of the multiple Chucky shit, Colonel Chucky is probably the most interesting and the coolest personality-wise. I wanted to see Colonel Chucky as like the main antagonist of Season 2, pretty much. But like what they did with Jennifer Tilly and the Tiffany doll, they killed him off in the next episode. Oh, and they also killed Buff Chucky, but get this, Colonel Chucky fucking poisoned him. It's insulting how ridiculous this show is. There's no balance. Coming off of films like Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, to skip Seed for a second, Curse, hell, even Cult. Season 2 does not fit in with the other Chucky movies. I don't like it. I really don't like it. And that's not to say that the show has all bad ideas. It has some good ideas, like at one point, Nika is talking to Chucky in her head, because since Chucky's soul is also in Nika's body at that point, they're having conversations within her head, and I thought that was a really cool idea to mess around with the voodoo aspect. They showed Gwen/Gwenda inside of the Gwen doll at the very end, but they gave it a whole new makeover and they removed the purple shirt, which I really liked. I don't know why they did that. But things like bringing the Gwen doll back and putting Gwen/Gwenda inside of it, and now it has this weird makeover I'm not the biggest fan of. I missed the purple shirt, honestly. And come to think of it, I forgot to talk about Gwenda being in Season 2. How do I feel about that, you might ask? Well, I feel very mixed about it, and here's why. Yes, I'm glad that they make their return in season 2, because at the end of the day, they're a part of the franchise, and I don't want them to just pretend that they don't exist now, just because Universal is afraid of a scene of Chucky happening to Chucky. And even though it seems like that's happening to the show at the moment, no one seems to care, or seems to really mention it. But I'm gonna mention it because I feel like there's a lot of wasted potential with these two characters. First and foremost, they're missing their accent, which some people have said that accents could go away, which I don't think that's true, but that's what everyone's saying. And Gwen at the end of the scene of Chucky has an accent in the human body. The accent makes a return when Gwen and Gwenda get put back into the Gwen/Gwenda doll body, which is named Gigi, by the way. And Billy Boyd does make a return at voicing Gwen/Gwenda, which is nice to see him back. But I need to talk about their personalities, because I don't feel like this. Gwen is not Gwen. Gwenda isn't Gwenda. It doesn't make any sense. The writing is not making sense. Other than the fact that their hair doesn't match, like for some reason Gwen has long straight hair opposed to having short curly hair at the end of seeing Chucky, and Gwenda having short hair for some reason instead of having long curly hair at the end of seeing Chucky. Their personalities don't match up. Gwen in seeing Chucky comes off as a very outgoing and nice person, while Gwenda comes off as, is passive the right word? Snarky with attitude, passive, I don't know. But she's evil in Seed of Chucky. They removed these character traits from these characters, and they don't seem to remember any of the events from Seed of Chucky, which makes no sense. They never bothered to explain why they don't remember the events from Seed of Chucky. And I don't know if the reason why they write their characters like this in the Chucky show is to quote-unquote add twists, without even trying to consider if these twists make any sense or not. But they don't do these characters justice, in my opinion. I feel like Gwenda not being evil anymore really misses out on adding tension and some dynamic to Gwen and Gwenda's relationship. And in season 2, even though Gwen chooses to be a boy at the end of Seed of Chucky, they're categorized as non-binary, which I don't have the biggest problem with. It just contradicts the end of Seed of Chucky is all. But I feel like the reason why they made these two non-binary is to add a conversation about non-binary people. In episode 4, someone just has to mention, it's just some stupid character, I don't remember who he is, but he just has to ask, what are you guys? And Gwenda takes offense and goes on this tangent about what being non-binary means. Look, I don't care that this series has themes of LGBTQ+, but what I have a problem with is the series shoving it down our throat every 5 minutes. You could have the series still have LGBTQ+ themes, but don't make the show feel like it's just all about that, because that's the vibe that I get from the show sometimes. This is about Chucky. The way that they do the series, I don't like this. This is not what I'm watching the show for. It's a fucking headache. It's just like how they never take the voodoo seriously, or they never expand the way that they should with the voodoo and stuff in the Chucky franchise. It's just kind of treated like a joke, instead of trying to embrace the voodoo and make it make sense and make it work for the story. I just wanted to get that off my chest because the writing for these two could have been a lot better. They just write things out and they try to add quote-unquote twists to the story. And instead of making sure these twists make sense, it just feels like they're adding a twist in just to add a twist. It's not clever. But I digress. That is how I feel about Gwen and Gwenda being in season 2. It's really wasted potential, and it sucks to see these characters not used to their full potential. But you know what? Since we talked about Gwen and Gwenda, we must talk about their mother, Tiffany Valentine. Oh boy, where do I even start with this one? They absolutely ruined her character. They butchered everything that was great about Tiffany. Coming off of films like Bride of Chucky and even Cinematography, I don't want to count Kirsten Coach because she wasn't that big of a part of those ones. She was in there, but she wasn't as huge of a part of those as Bride and Seed. I absolutely loved her character in Bride of Chucky. She was a great addition and a major highlight of that movie. But what we get in the series is not recognizable. It is not the same Tiffany from Bride of Chucky and See Chucky. Instead, they give us this insufferable person trying to pretend to be someone else. And it is so cringe. And what is with this obsession she has with Nika? It's not like her at all. And the betrayal that they reveal at the end of season 1, where apparently she betrayed Chucky, just retcons the whole plotline and curse for Chucky going after Nika because he was betrayed by Sarah Pierce. And her betraying Chucky and ratting him out to the police, as revealed in the finale of season 1, also doesn't explain why Tiffany spent years trying to find Chucky, which led to the events of Bride of Chucky. Sarah Pierce is not mentioned to be in the picture of these events at all. None of it lines up. I can't even process how badly they messed up Tiffany's character. She is not herself at all. And I'm sorry, she is a terrible mother. I can't believe they ruined such a great character, and I just need to mention that. I love Tiffany. She is a great part of the series, but what they're doing with her character is essentially butchering it and spreading the limbs of what we once loved all across the United States. I can't even recognize Tiffany anymore. Let's talk about the teen drama aspect of the show. I'm not watching the show to watch a bunch of stupid teen drama and to watch Lexi fucking damn near overdose on pills. They're trying to tackle touchy subjects and honestly, they don't do a good job at it at all. I forgot what the name of the drug is that Lexi was taking, but someone told me that that drug, it doesn't even affect the body the way that the show depicts. So if that's actually true, someone on the writing team isn't doing their homework. Oh, and speaking of the show not feeling like a Chucky show, this episode pissed me off. Episode 4, Death Undeniable. This episode fucking sucked. It's a Jennifer Tilly / Tiffany centered episode, and it wasn't even that good. It's set up like a murder mystery episode, and then Chucky at the very end, he has some dumb talk show bits, and he explains how everything went down. Oh, what's her name? The wrestler, Liv Morgan. She's in that episode. It felt like they just wanted to find a way to include her so she could die. And so they included her in some talk show bit with Chucky, and he stabbed her to death, and it wasn't even a good death. And that's what I mean. The show is all over the place. The writing, man. The dialogue is so crappy. Chucky doesn't come off as clever as he once was. None of the plot lines make any sense, and like I said, a lot of the plot lines are just written off in like the next episode after that. They're just trying to get everything out of the way. They want to do so much, but they just can't focus on what works. They can't just say, okay, so here are ideas, here's what's gonna work, and here's what's not gonna work. And construct an actually good story with compelling characters. Instead, they gotta rush it along. As soon as season 2 got greenlit, they started working on it like not long after that, and that got me kind of concerned because they finished the script really quick. Do the people even read over what they write? Do they make sure that the plot lines even make any sense? Oh, and the way Chucky looks in this, Chucky just looks too cute nowadays. I don't like that. I like Chucky to be scary and menacing, and the fact that it's not even that he's just like cute anymore. They did a good Chucky arc. Honestly, I thought it was just really dumb, and the main reason why I thought it was dumb is because the way that they actually quote unquote got Chucky to be good And I'm not even sure if they even really got him to be good. I'm not sure if he had split personality or what, because he started acting menacing later on in the series. But basically, Jake and Devin and the gang, they showed him a bunch of horror movie gore scenes. And one of them was like The Thing, and basically they're trying to do a Clockwork Orange. And that also brings me to another point. I don't not only want them referencing Clockwork Orange in the Chucky show. Why is it that they gotta every minute or so reference a scene from a movie? Why? Clockwork Orange, and then I think one of them was Apocalypse Now, the death scene for Colonel Chucky. And yes, the movie homages are fucking annoying because it makes me think that they don't have any original ideas, and so they're just like, okay, well, let's reference a movie here because we can't come up with anything else. And it's really just, I don't like that. I don't think it's good writing, honestly. There's a lot of missed opportunities that they do in this show. There's so many ideas that they introduce, but they fall flat because the people who are writing the show don't know the potential that the story has. And so they're writing whatever they think sounds interesting instead of just considering first how it would work for the story or if it would work. And you know what, actually? One of my friends, X-Men, he's been talking a lot about how they should bring back Stitch-Face Chucky, and he had a really good point on how they could have brought him back. Basically, I don't know where this art came from. I wish I knew. If I can figure out what account this art is from on Instagram, I'll leave a link down screen below, but I'm going to show it. Basically, you know the Chucky head that gets blown off of its body at the end of Curse, and of course we see the aftermath in Cult? Well, someone did a really cool concept art for if they managed to bring that head back. This look of Chucky pretty much includes the head that's blown off, except a chunk of a good guy head replaces the part of the Stitch-Face Chucky head that's missing, and then of course the clothes is worn and stuff. And it's fucking cool, and it would have been a really cool way to bring back the Stitch-Face Chucky look. But no, apparently Kyle killed it off screen. Also, what is with them and doing things off screen? Like, shit always happens off screen, and we find out about it, and they never show it, and I don't understand why. It's a, yeah, that happened, let's just forget about it. I'm sorry that I'm complaining so much, but I'm just genuinely not happy with the direction of the Chucky, not just the Chucky TV show, but the whole franchise. Literally, I'm not even kidding. The first half of season 2 was fucking garbage. Every episode got worse and worse and worse. And then of course, after episode 5, things started to get a little bit better, but still had things that bothered me about it. For example, one Chucky fighting another Chucky. You know, buff Chucky fighting good Chucky. I thought that was super fucking stupid. However, at the end of that same episode, we see Andy being held captive by Colonel Chucky, and I thought that was interesting how they're showing Colonel Chucky to be this prominent threat, which leads into episode 6. They had to go off and kill Colonel Chucky off. They had to go off and kill Buff Chucky, which, fuck Buff Chucky, but still the way they went out was fucking stupid. But episode 5, 6, 7, and not 8, but 5, 6, and 7 had cool things about them. The whole exorcism thing that they did in episode 7 did strike an interesting question in my head and a lot of other fans' heads. Can an exorcism be performed on Chucky? And I've never thought about that, but it was cool that they explored that. Not in the way that I actually wanted to see. They're doing the same shit that I was complaining about a second ago, the movie homage crap. Those are the kind of things I want to see. I want to see those questions that I didn't even think about being answered. And they make interesting plot lines and stories. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Not half of the shit that season 2 was. Episode 8 was fucking... Don't even get me started. It's the season finale, right? It's a Christmas episode. And honestly, I don't know if it's just me, but every single holiday episode they do for Chucky, the TV series, I'm just let down by. Both the Halloween episodes of both season 1 and 2 didn't really feel like Halloween episodes. And the Christmas episode, I mean, albeit it did feel like Christmas, technically, but it was just a dog shit episode. Basically, they opened up a bunch of plot lines, and I'm not impressed by them at all. For example, I guess Fairchild knows about Chucky somehow, which struck me off quite a bit. Chucky managed to possess the weird therapist lady before Andy can even catch up to them to kill him, which is really fucking weird. And the therapist lady had a fucking Chucky doll hidden behind a safe, which, how the fuck would Chucky know the combination to that? Lexi's mom died finally, which I thought was really fucking goofy. Oh, and you know that wedding bell doll? Well, it was Chucky in disguise, and I thought that was really fucking stupid. They wanted to do some crazy plot twist, and so they're like, yep, Chucky disguised himself as a wedding bell doll, which I honestly think would have been cool if it was just a fucking wedding bell doll. Oh, and Nika's trying to hunt down Tiffany, which, how the fuck is she gonna hunt down Tiffany? She's in a goddamn wheelchair. And all of her limbs were amputated, and all she has are prosthetic arms. There's also some hashtag on Twitter that I saw, hashtag #WeKnewChucky. Honestly, and I'm being completely honest, I do not want a season 3 of Chucky. You know why? They keep introducing all these plot lines and they either never go anywhere, they write them off, they kill off some prominent character that ties into that plot line, or they just introduce really stupid stuff because they want to be over the top and they don't think about how it works. Instead they're like, oh, you know, let's just be really goofy and shit. And I'm not the only one that feels that way either. A lot of other fans really don't like that tone for Chucky, and I don't like that people feel like if you don't like the series then you're not a true Chucky fan, because I've been a fan since I was 2 and I've always loved Chucky, and it just disappoints me to see that he's going downhill. Don Mancini and everyone working on the Chucky movies and the show, they're essentially beating a dead horse because they want to keep it going. They should be planning a conclusion to the franchise, because if they don't end it off soon, the Chucky franchise is going to become a husk of what everyone once knew it as, and it's going to die abruptly and we're not going to get a conclusion. And so I think they really need to come up with like 1, maybe 2 more movies and just wrap up the whole entire franchise, because if they don't, it's just going to go on until they can't greenlight any more Chucky movies or even greenlight the show. And I honestly really think that the show shouldn't get renewed. And actually, they did recently greenlight a Chucky season 3, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm feeling way more dreadful than I am excited. I'm not excited for them doing a season 3 at all, seeing how just all over the place season 2 was. I'm worried that this season's gonna be even worse, and seeing that it's coming this fall. So Chucky season 3 is slated for a fall 2023 release, and I feel like that's one of the show's biggest problems, is the writers and the showrunners just can't take a moment to perfect their story and work on making sure the story is the best that it could be. Instead, they want to get it out by the fall, and I feel like the show is going to suffer greatly because of that. Overall, I really don't want to see a season 3 of the show. Seeing how much I disliked season 2, I have little to no hope for it, but I'm still going to tune in to see if the show manages to get better or not. I hope it does, but I have very little hope now. It hurts me to say it, but I want to like it so badly, but it just keeps disappointing. There's always something to mention that I do not like in these episodes. It's not that, oh, this episode was perfect. Every episode has something wrong with it. The first half is just nothing but garbage. The second half is mostly decent, but still not great. It's still quite bad, honestly. I'm just disappointed because Chucky's just a joke now. That's the reason why for the longest time I didn't like seeing Chucky, because Chucky was a joke and I didn't like that. I always thought Chucky had potential to be a genuinely horrifying villain, but the people who are handling him, in my opinion, aren't handling him very well. And it hurts to say, because for the longest time I did look up to Don Mancini, and at the end of the day, Don Mancini is a great person. I just don't like the direction that he's taken the franchise in. I just want to make that clear. I don't have any hate for Don Mancini or the people who work on the show. I just need to be honest to say that I'm super disappointed in Chucky, and I hope that it either gets better or we get a conclusion to the whole entire franchise to where the franchise can actually end instead of being dragged out until there's nothing more to drag out. I think it's time that I do my final verdict and stop talking about this mess of a series. So the cinematography, I think it's gonna have to get a solid 6. It's not always bad, but I didn't find too many of the shots too interesting. And I remember the shot where it zooms into the Chucky's mouth was really weird, and I just thought that was super fucking weird. It just looked too janky to me, okay? Music score rating, I'm gonna have to give that a 5. I don't remember hearing anything that quite caught my ears in the OST of the Chucky Season 2. A lot of the score that they use for Season 2 is just recycled from Curse, Cult, and Season 1. The writing in the story is gonna fucking get a 1. I don't think I've rated anything that low on my reviews. It just pissed me off so much. The acting is gonna get a 4. And one of the reasons why is because as much as I like Jennifer Tilly, the way that she plays Tiffany Valentine trying to pretend to be Jennifer Tilly is honestly a fucking headache in itself. The writing for Tiffany in this show is fucking appalling. Now for the final verdict of Chucky Season 2. I think this is the lowest I've ever given a final verdict, but I think I'm gonna have to give it a 3 out of 10. This season pissed me off. And I'm not even exaggerating that. This season really did anger me. And honestly, it proved me right because I was concerned about this season. I had a feeling this was going to be a bad season. Of course, it's not going to get a Nightmare Crypt seal of approval. It's going to get fucking shit. Because this season is fucking shit! And for the final statement, Chucky is not only an underwhelming presence, but an underwhelming threat in his own show. That is just sad. That's how I feel about the Chucky TV show though. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me. A lot of people are probably going to say I'm complaining too much. Or they're going to say, oh, we're not a true Chucky fan. Or they're going to say, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Because I've gotten all those messages and it doesn't validate the show being as bad as it is. And I'm a big Chucky fan, and so I still gave it a chance. And it bothers me that some of the fans can't just let some people's opinions be their opinions and move on. Instead, they gotta argue why they should like the show. They just don't like people talking crap about the show because they like it. And it's okay if you don't like the show, and it's okay if you do like the show. And I want to make that clear. There's just so much I can say about this franchise and how I don't like where it's going, and there's always going to be people who want to argue with me and tell me how I should think because I'm a Chucky fan, and call me a fake Chucky fan for not liking the show and the direction. And I think people should just accept that not everyone's going to like what you like. And I definitely didn't like Season 2. I noticed so many flaws in the writing and the story. I've been a fan for a long time, and I'm going to say when I don't like something, and I didn't like this. I'll talk more about it on my upcoming podcast. That'll be all for today's review. I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling and ranting about the Chucky TV show. If you guys did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content. Definitely subscribe to Become a Slasher. All social media links in my merch section below. Thank you guys so much for watching my review on Chucky Season 2. I'm out of here. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget, guys, to keep on slashing.